Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the update for today, which was March the 6th of the year 2026. So this morning I had a cart shift. Again, I mentioned yesterday that I had carts 6 to 2:30. Today I had carts 6 to 3. The only difference being that yesterday they sent me on a 30-minute lunch break, and today they sent me on a 60-minute lunch break. And I have a kind of weird spot in that I personally, most days, I do not care how long of a lunch break they send me on. A lot of people have passionate opinions on this particular topic. There's definitely a team 30 and a team 60 when it comes to lunch breaks. And a lot of the folks are very passionate about it. There have been a couple of times when I have been sent to go send a cashier on a 30-minute lunch, and right in front of a customer I get ripped apart by a colleague because they wanted a 60-minute lunch that day, and messenger I had one time where the next customer was like, I thought she was going to murder you right here, and I didn't want to get like blood on my stuff. Absolutely true customer comment in one of these situations. Anyway, yeah, sometimes people are like insane, like freaky, scary, passionate on this particular topic. That being said, I personally could care less most of the time. So normally I'll just walk up to the supervisor. So half or whole today? And if they say half, I'll normally grab a what I call a good enough sandwich. If they and stay on premises, if they say 60, I'll go home, hang out at home for like 45 minutes, pretty much like right here, because I live 4 to 5 minutes away from the store, which is another reason why I am so passionate about trying to keep this apartment and not move to the slightly less expensive, more affordable Hinterlands, where I probably will end up having to care a little bit more about this because, well, frankly, being on campus or on premises for a 60 when you don't live nearby, I see where some of my colleagues are coming from on if they're on team 30 in that regard. That being said, for right now, I don't really care. So I had the 60-minute lunch, came home, hung out here, and yeah, ended up working 6 to 3. And the lunch length tangent there was something I completely did not expect to go off on, but it's very relevant and it comes up like almost every day, so there you go. Today on carts was a pretty decent day for it. Cloudy, dreary, but in the 60s and no rain, which honestly is a fairly normal occurrence. I'm not necessarily always fair to the Portland area when it comes to the dreariness versus the rain. I promise you that in these videos I am going to say it rains all the time here. I'm going to make some comment to that point. Probably multiple times a month. If you go back through the 130-ish of these that I've made now, by the way, archive on my YouTube channel. But if I've already done that a bunch of times, and I'm going to continue doing that. The truth be told, I mean, more often than not, the real complaint is dreary, as opposed to wet. My dad used to love, he had this trivia fact that he got somewhere, and I've looked it up, it's basically true in most years, and that is that in terms of total inches of precipitation, there is more in Miami than in Portland. That being said, it takes us, I believe it's on average 305 dreary days a year to reach that. It takes Miami about 27 minutes. So yeah, take that for what it's worth. And so I'm going to continue complaining about rain. Not necessarily fairly, but that being said, if my hair is physically dripping while I'm filming one of these, it probably rained that day. I was on carts. But anyway, let's see. Moving right along, the Broom Saga continues. I mentioned yesterday that there was a rule of the week that came out regarding sweeping entrances. So, and I'm not going to say that complaining on the internet helps whatsoever, because honestly, by the time I posted the video talking about this, we were open like 45 more minutes after that between the time that I came back again, so I know there's no correlation here. That being said, I talked about yesterday the fact that the issue came up of tracking down the freaking broom. Well, I show up this morning, and in the corner of one of these entrance lobbies, there's randomly a broom sitting there now. I said, a broom, sweep a broom. I said, a broom, sweep a broom. Yes, there was a broom in the corner of that lobby. Anyway, I don't know why it was there. Don't know who put it there. I'm going to guess maybe somebody who saw the silliness of this little routine yesterday while working on the evening shift, like my relief yesterday. Maybe they put a broom there and just left it. I don't know, but I left it there and I used it. And the first time, I was like thinking, goodness gracious, I just saved a bunch of time because I don't need to go hunt down the broom every time. The gods listened. Yay! So I used that and like, oh my goodness, I've only wasted 2 minutes on this because I used the broom in it. There's no dustpan. Where's the dustpan? Only one I know of is by the florist. So, just like yesterday, I went over and ended up talking to the floral girls several times, like every hour on the hour, while I go and get their dustpan, leaving their broom there because I have one of those now, and to go sweep up that dirt every hour on the hour. I share this story more for entertainment value than for any other sake, because it's kind of a silly ritual and one that, honestly, it'll be changed and modified in some way in the next few days, but probably by the next time I do carts again, because I don't have a cart day scheduled here for a while, but I got a couple of good days of content out of that story. But anyway, they'll find some solution to making that lobby look good that doesn't end up taking 10% of our cart time away. But for right now, like I said, a couple of days of content from that. All right, now, by the way, I mentioned yesterday in this update that I got dress coded in a polo shirt. It was this polo shirt. Why? Honestly, I do not know what grounds they used. Technically, during that time, any polo shirt like this should have worked. But the store manager said no. And believe it or not, this was actually one of the polo shirts that I got when I was first hired by that company back in 2001. Yeah, but anyway, another story that I've kept around. Now, the final minute of today's update is actually regarding, I mentioned in the one where I talk about going to Seattle, this is about a week ago. Shortly after, and that entire little story was centered around the fact that I went to customer service desk training with the neat trainer lady, who is retiring next week. I think it's next Wednesday or Thursday is going to be her final day. Anyway, while I was up there doing a paperwork thing that we have to do once a quarter, she tells me, because again, being just a week from retirement, one of these days, you should shout me out in one of your videos. Well, by golly, Carla, I'm going to do that right now. So, if you have known, if you have worked with me in the last, 5 years, and we've had a colleague named Carla, well, she's retiring in, a week. And so, congratulations to her. I'll probably mention this one more time sometime in the next week. I think we have, 2 shifts left together, Friday and Monday. But anyway, Carla, bless you. And we'll talk to you soon.